Hey, what's up, Libra? Welcome back to this Timeless General Tarot reading. Per usual, make sure to check the timestamps below for relevant parts of the reading, but of course, more specifically, for whenever your patience begins to wear thin. That allows you to skip forward to the next card drop or to the next relevant pair of cards you'd like to see. Sometimes there's interesting tidbits in between card drops, but very often I'm just stalling for time, waiting for the card to actually drop for you. So therefore I've given you the convenient timestamps that you can use to skip around to the next part of the reading. And there's also the ability to skip to the conclusion if necessary. With that being said, also I must stipulate, Eight of Swords, or Eight of Wands, what did you come out for you there? That all typical disclaimers are assumed. All non-typical disclaimers are asserted. I am not responsible for you misusing the truth imparted by this message in any form. If it is not meant for you, I am not responsible for what you do with it. Alright, so with that being said, let me see if I can ground my energy here in order to get something to come out for you. Also, make sure to check the description for ways you can help me out. I have social media links and a PayPal link, and all of that would be greatly appreciated for expanding my process that I've got going on here. I don't actually mind doing the reads, but doing the video editing and making the thumbnails and maybe one day having to replace my cards, get more crystals, get a new camera setup, all that stuff. It would go a long way getting some support for all that, so one way or the other, though, I'm committed to doing these readings. It's one of the few things in life that I've got left that I don't mind doing. It's actually just doing the reads. Now that I'm building up the momentum, I'm managing to get to a comfortable place where I'm going to be able, once I get a couple more thumbnails done, channel thumbnails complete, which I am making myself with Inkscape. Once I get those complete, I'm actually going to be in a very good place where I can just start spitting out videos again. I've been going a lot slower recently because I've been doing these thumbnail arts. But once those are done, I've got everything set up to like basically blitz through making vids and uploading them. I don't have a subscription to any editing software, which would be cool, but I don't have that, so I do my best with what I've got. Free software for doing the recordings. The only thing that really gets in the way is, like, sometimes it takes a second to upload the video. And it takes a little bit of work to... Honestly, one of the hardest parts of this is coming up with intriguing titles is like one of the hardest things to do. You only get 100 characters, and once you... It's definitely an art form coming up with intriguing titles, because I don't do very typical reads like love readings. Like my readings aren't like, I don't use reading, like I don't do readings that try to goad the reader in or try to goad the viewer in. I take the read and I let divinity choose what the read is going to be about, and sometimes that's about a tough topic, and it can be difficult to create an enticing title about tough topics. It really can be. So besides for that, like I've actually almost got this whole thing on roll here. The only thing that I really need to expand is my card knowledge, and the only other thing maybe is like if I could figure out a way to get cards to drop better. Like that. And the only time I ever The only time they like to come out is when I think they won't. It's like very spiteful. The spirit of the tarot is like it's spiteful in a sense. Like it works with you in spite. It doesn't work with you in good quality. It's very strange. Very strange. So very interesting. Eight of Wands. I'm sorry. And if I get a new camera, I can maybe fix this color correction issue. So you got Eight of Wands here. Not a great sign. Blocked, some kind of blocked progress. Okay, so now we got even the Fool reversed and the Ten of Swords. Jeez. Libra, what the heck, man? What the heck is going on, brother or sister? Not cool. Definitely not cool. See, how am I supposed to make a cool title for this? Like, what the heck am I supposed to say here? For a cool, like, how am I supposed to entice you to watch this with a some kind of title that says, like, some kind of halted progress due to a lack of desire to move forward is keeping you in some kind of travesty. Or even more specifically, like, a lack of forward progress to start a new journey is going to keep you, it's going to lead to a downfall because you're refusing to grow. Like, that's not a cool title for you, see? So there it goes. But based on these three cards, that's essentially where the read is headed. So I guess what I can do is I can just try and turn it around here. So the energy I'm seeing an energy of some kind of blocked progress. That blocked progress is partly due to the fact that you don't want to move forward, and maybe you're afraid, maybe you're just complacent. Whatever energy is keeping you stuck, you're stuck. And it's not just it's not suggesting that you're stuck due to external circumstances. You're stuck because of your mindset. Your mindset is keeping you stuck. But you're stuck in some position that you can't afford to be stuck in. And if you stay stuck there, you are cruising for a bruising. And we even have the Hanged Man in reverse. So that comes out, and that just, dang. So yeah, this is weird. A lot of energy here that you are not. Tons of energy about not retrospecting. Tons of energy about being stuck. Tons of energy about that being stuck kind of due to yourself. Dang. So now we even have this coming out here. And something that's usually cute in Libra readings is that there's balance that comes out in the cards, but not this time. You have thwarted the balance. So the Libra balance has not emerged. And we're looking at, oops, sorry, let me arrange that a little better. Dang, Libra, what the heck is going on here, brother or sister? Maybe I need to figure out a way to send you 10 bucks. My goodness. This is brutal. This is severely brutal. Like, usually my Libra readings are much more positive than this, but this is like, this is an extreme refusal to work on yourself. Whew. Nine of Wands. Slipping out. Okay. That doesn't make any sense though, really. Very, very weird. I'm getting a personal resonance with this because this is now suggesting that despite all of this dawdling around, you have some kind of power. So it's not as if you're powerless here. And I can sympathize with that because, like I was just suggesting, I have the ability to, like, do these art thumbnails. I have the ability to read the tarot. I have the ability to record the videos, set up the videos. I have the ability to do computer programming. I have the ability to do some video game rendering. I've got all these skills, but I'm like super stuck myself. So it's very interesting how this is coming out here, because this is suggesting that it's not as if you, once again, it's not suggesting that it has anything to do with external factors affecting you. It's all about you. It's all about you being unwilling to, or maybe unable, but at least unwilling, at least unable, whichever one, I suppose, fits for you. Dang, Queen of Swords. I don't even have anywhere to put this. I'm going to take this back because I did not ask for where it should go, but I wanted to come out. Okay, so finally we have your energy. Now that I realize it. This is the first signifier of a Libra. So here, and it's even suggesting that there's a feminine Libra. But dang, so this is very weird because you have King of Wands and Queen of Swords both in the reverse. And they are surrounding your only positive quality here, which is this Nine of Wands in the reverse. Very critical. Very critical energy. Yeah, just severely critical energy. It can stunt this Nine of Wands process. So I don't know if this is you or not. I don't know if you're a masculine or feminine. There's a good shot that there's both watching this reading. Dang. Even this card's coming out too. Yeah, this is heavy. Like, jeez. I don't think I've ever seen a reading this negative out of all the reads I've done over the last 3 or 4 weeks. This is literally the most negative read I've seen. Bar none. Very strange. Very strange. Yeah, I'm sorry about the light there on the Four of Cups. But yeah, it's the Four of Cups reversed. I don't even know how to... At some point I'm just going to have to optimize this out. But the raw energy is all very negative. And I'm not sure who these individuals are representing now, but it's like these individuals have your quality constricted, is part of what this is suggesting. So maybe these individuals who are very critical of you are part of what's kind of stunting your power. So that's very interesting. So it depends on if you'd have to make that decision. If you are a male with some fire energy, or masculine in general, then that's just more of a sign of toxicity and the natural result of toxicity. If you are a female, more of a wind energy, feminine, then that's more of a sign of apathy. And your apathy is kind of reducing your ability to apply your talent. So I'm not sure which one you are, but either, and if you're neither, then that's really bad, because then it's a signifier that maybe you've got like parents that are super critical, and that can really stunt your ability to. That's like the only light here, is that it's not necessarily you, but now we have the Queen of Swords. That is Libra energy. So the only thing left would be the Justice card to come out here to clarify you, but otherwise there's not a ton of Libra energy here. Just the Ten of Swords reversed, which is not cool, and then the Queen of Swords reversed isn't great. So I definitely apologize, Libra. This is not shaping up as I really hoped and dreamed it would. I really hope I didn't cross in my own energy into this somehow. That would be very disappointing, because I was kind of getting real about my predicament. And I can kind of read myself into this a little bit. I'm going to try and get some more clarifiers here, but... Okay, now we even have the Queen of Pentacles coming out. And it's all still in the reverse energy. Severely reversed energy. So now I have these two queens opposed to each other. Apathy between a few of them. Four of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles reversed. Tons of inability to ground yourself materially. Queen of Pentacles reversed. Hangman reversed. That's getting stuck in like a certain type of fear and a certain type of insecurity. So insecurity is, if I'm reading the energy, that's what that is suggesting. There's insecurity here. Dang, so now we're only at 10 of Swords reversed. That's one of the hardest cards because it's it is known as, the card is known as the Lord of Ruin. So in the reverse, it's like severe ruin. It's severe. I won't go all the way to say that it's like physical destruction, but it's definitely not life going your way. Quite hard. So we're at 16 minutes now, and you're getting railed here, my friend. 4, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 0, 12. No number correlations. There could be multiple people taking a look at this, and they would be at odds with a lot of this energy anyway, one way or the other. I'm not even sure how I would recommend. I'm hoping to find some kind of solution here for turning this around. It's disappointed that you're trapped in your Nine of Wands power is trapped. You shouldn't be this trapped with that power. If you actually have that capability, it's disappointing that you're trapped. That's why it's very interesting that I'm sympathizing with that, because like I suggested, I have that kind of power myself, but I haven't been able to find my life's success either. So I can sympathize with a lot of this. I won't just call you a bad person for being in this predicament. I'm not just going to sit there and say, you should do better, work harder, this or that or the other. It's not always that simple. When your energy is this befuddled, it's not that simple. It takes something else. And unfortunately, what it takes is faith from someone else. And the only signs you've got are people that aren't going to be very good at giving you that faith. Insecure people themselves. Dang. So like, I'm very sorry. Like my heart goes out to you big time. So if you need me to be that person for you, then I'll be that person for you. But I don't know the whole predicament here. But your one shining light is that you have some kind of potential that maybe is getting shut down by insecure people. That is practically what's getting suggested here. And part of why it's getting suggested is like they have their own insecurities as well, and they have their own emotional apathies as well. They're not happy either. They're disappointed with life also. So if they're disappointed with life and they're insecure with life, unfortunately, they have a tendency to try to shut down other people. And when they shut you down, why should they be surprised when you find yourself materially broken and in ruin and unable to figure out how to move forward when you can't embrace your own power? Of course you're going to get stuck here. Of course you're going to find a lack of enthusiasm for life if you are being shaped by other people's insecurities. Like, that's a no fucking brainer. But they don't get it. I don't know. I don't know what they expect from you. So I don't know exactly. The only sign here of you is, in fact, the Queen of Swords in reverse. So if you're the Queen of Swords in reverse, you're in your own emotional apathy, and you are not. You're over relying on your mentalism, but you're over relying on your mentalism, and you're not embracing your heart properly. And that's exactly, if you have Nine of Wands power, that's more mental in general, so it makes sense that you might be a mental Queen of Swords, but in the reverse, that can also make you toxic and sharp and mean and bitter, vile, to a certain extent. especially if you don't feel 100% and you're just kind of apathetic. So that would be very interesting. It would be very interesting to know who you are for that particular case, so I could understand if this Queen of Swords is you or somebody else, because if it's not you, if this Queen of Swords doesn't represent you, then like there's people who are like trapping your power. And that's very strange, because Temperance. That's a good sign for you. Temperance is about finding your inner strength and casting off your inner weakness. It is about gaining your power and removing your impurities. That is more or less what it is. It is about building up your strength. But it's not just about getting stronger, it's also about eliminating your weakness. It's like removing oxygen from iron and turning it into steel. You don't just add something to iron to get steel, you have to remove its impurities to get steel. And we have Justice on the bottom of the deck, the reverse though, which is your energy again. And also, like, this is so negative that the Libra balances doesn't even want to come out. In my last two Libra readings, I think maybe 2 out of 3 or both of them, I can't remember how many I've done, but there was an actual Libra balance that emerged in those readings, and they're not emerging. It hasn't emerged in this reading. So this is so negative that the Libra archetype isn't even bringing forth itself into this reading, and that's very disappointing. So good sign though with the Temperance that the things that keep ruining you, you've got to cast them aside. And you don't have to destroy them if they're, I guess, if they're like mental weakness, you kind of do want to destroy them, but obviously if it's like people or something, like, you know, you can't destroy them, but removing them from your existence in a reasonable manner so that they can't trap your power. Oopsie, sorry. So they can't trap your power. Makes a lot of sense. So what was this? Fool reversed. The Hierophant Reversed. Following Temperance. 5, 5, 5. Or wait, just 5, 5. Okay, not 5, 5, 5. Man, so Hierophant Reversed is like some kind of it really is a call to doing something different. That's really all it's suggesting here for you, is it's like it's calling you to do something different. And where you find that might be in a place you're not expecting. It might be in a way that you thought was bad. It might be in a conventional, it can kind of be two-sided. It can, on one hand, it might be suggesting that you need to cast off some kind of convention that you thought you were supposed to do, and you thought that's what made you a good person, but in fact, it isn't. It's actually trapping you, whatever that convention is. So in the reverse, the Hierophant in the upright would suggest that there are ways that more conventional approaches could actually serve you better. But in the reverse, it's suggesting that whatever those conventional approaches are, even though they might be a part of your culture, and especially if there is some kind of dogma that you're trapped in, this is really suggesting that you are not, it's calling you to cast off that convention and cast off that dogma. And I don't have the clarifier for what that is. I've had this before where, like in the last reading, this was clarifying the 7 of Cups reversed. And that was suggesting that the individual, in fact, was abusing, basically where it got to in that reading was the individual was abusing medications. Or more specifically, the medications weren't serving them. But because the Hierophant was in reverse, that was a sign to me that that individual's dogma was telling them that the medications were supposed to be serving them, so they were on the meds, but the meds weren't helping. So even though society and dogma was telling them that the meds were supposed to work, the Hierophant in reverse coming up to clarify that was suggesting to them that they need to cast off that conventional approach of that dogma. And that's sort of what's going on here. So I don't know what that dogma is for you. It's not as clear here. The Fool reversed is more or less a sign of not being excited to be alive, more or less. Not being excited to take the journey forward. Like, and the only thing that really comes to mind to me is it's like very traditional and very controlling dogmatic Christianity or Catholicism that says you're born to suffer through life so you can find salvation in heaven. And under that approach, like, you have no excitement to do anything in life because you're just accepting that life's supposed to be bad for you. So if that's what's going on here, that would make sense where maybe some people are trapping you. And it would make sense that you're going to feel like this, but it's disappointing that you're stuck being like that. It's disappointing then that you're stuck being so materially disappointed. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what the Hierophant is clarifying for you. That's something you're going to have to figure out, but that's essentially what it's suggesting. There's some kind, and that is the one shining light here in this reading for you, is that in multiple places actually, this is suggesting that you are trapped in some kind of dogma. And that dogma is actually the source of your lack of enthusiasm for living. That's practically what's being suggested here. And you're being asked, the Temperance is asking you to drop those, whatever insecurities that brings to you, and whatever convention that isn't serving you. It's asking you to shed those. And it's also asking you to get over whatever weakness this self-destruction keeps bringing to you, this ruin. Whenever you're falling into this ruin, it's asking you to temper out of that as well. So you have a couple shimmers of hope here. Okay, so there's 2 cards, so I'm not going to take those. I'm gonna get one more clarifier here to finish off this reading on these 8 of Wands. It's become pretty clear to me what needs to happen. There's plenty of energy here suggesting what you're going through. And I can't I don't know, I can't tell, of course. Let me see what this is. Ooh, ouch. Dang, that would definitely... Dang. I'm not going to take it. It was the Lovers in reverse, which would be very convenient for the 8 of Wands reverse, but I'm going to try and get a true clarifier, not a semi-clarifier, so... Yeah. Once I get this final clarifier, I will do a conclusion, so if you'd like to, you can skip to the conclusion where I will kind of reiterate the energy, but I'm going to do my best to make more optimistic suggestions step by step here from what I'm seeing, because I know that's something I need to start trying to work into my readings more, is not just delivering the energy as seen, because there's a great point I just read in a new tarot book I'm reading, and it was that, like, the person listening already knows the situation they're in. So if I get stuck just telling them over and over again the same thing that they're already in, that's not very useful. I think it's useful for my own listening to readings, because I can, when the reader is sympathizing with exactly what's going on with me, that's a correlation that resonates with me. So I don't mind going through the energy. I really don't. I don't mind going through the utter reality of the energy, but I also understand that why it makes sense that I should turn the energy around also. It makes a lot of sense. But I've already halfway done that for you here, because this Hierophant has been very clarifying. The Temperance makes sense. The Nine of Wands makes sense. And the only thing would be if this is you or not. That would be the only thing of note, because... Sorry, excuse me. I had a yawn fit out there. the only thing left, if it is you, then it speaks to you trapping yourself a little bit more. But if it's not you, then it's just a sign that like other people are trapping the hell out of you. And like busting out of this convention, it might be very difficult too if you're dogmatic. Okay, so we just got Page of Pentacles in reverse. So interesting. Earth energy, not you. Could represent you though. Another representation of an individual. A lot of individual representation in this particular read. Alright, I'm going to do the conclusion. Or, real quick, I guess I should try and clarify this Page of Pentacles. If the Page of Pentacles is clarifying the Eight of Wands in reverse, in reverse, that's pretty straightforward. It's just a sign that you're used to bad news. And especially you're used to bad news about your material abundance. And that can lead to some conniving behavior. Maybe not from you, but maybe from others around you. And it just goes to compound this stalled process in your existence. And it goes to compound your lack of enthusiasm for your journey forward. So it's pretty clear clarifier for that. It makes sense in that regard. And it's also a kind of a sign of turning to dark energy in a certain extent. The Page of Pentacles actually has in the reverse, it actually has a smidge of a connotation of dark magic. The misuse of dark magic, so to a certain extent, it actually can represent an over-reliance on tarot cards, because the source of tarot energy is actually Mother Nature, and the Page of Pentacles, being Earth energy, is grounded in Earth energy. So the idea is that the Page of Pentacles in reverse can represent an overuse or a misuse, a misreliance on that energy through the tarot. But I don't know if that's exactly true. More specifically, it actually does have to do with messages, because the Eight of Wands is in reverse, which has to do with like news of delayed action. Or so maybe you're like, it practically is a message of, or it definitely could be a message of misusing the tarot, misinterpreting the tarot, which I've never got this. I've never gotten that in any of my other tarot readings. So maybe you are like, it's something that you're just going to have to consider, for sure. It's an interesting warning. It's never a warning I've had to spit out in any of my readings yet over these last 3 or 4 weeks. But it's coming out for you here. So I don't know. I don't have any more details. I can't speculate as to more of the specifics in terms of what you're going through, but the energy is all here. So, alright. Let me conclude this reading then for you. For some reason, you have found yourself without hope in your life. And there's a good shot that that is due to some kind of dogma that you have given yourself to, or that you are indebted to, entitled to. But that dogma is taking away your very enthusiasm for living, your very enthusiasm for moving forward in your life, and it's stunting your ability to believe in a good quality of living, not just through your ideals, but through also your material abundance, which is proving to be elusive at best. There are a lot of signs here that there are insecure people in your existence, whether that's you or others, you and at least others. If even one of these is you, then the rest of them are other people. So there's a ton of insecurity around you. There's a ton of insecurity that is pointing towards your inability to actually function in a healthy manner. All the way from external news, all the way from your anticipation of good things from others in the form of news, to your ability to actually consciate within yourself, your own internal capacity to embrace wisdom, is also kind kind of like calloused over into a negative energy as a result of this. And of course, all of that is going to bleed out into a lack of material abundance, because it's hard to embrace the quality of receiving that material abundance when you are wrapped up in all of this negativism. It's not hard to understand. And it's not just that this is all affecting you, it's that it's like ruining you. Ten of Swords reversed is the Lord of Ruin, and in the reverse it is even more severe, especially in this context. Sometimes the reverse Ten of Swords can connotate that you are getting over that, but with all this negative surrounding energy, it's not suggesting that. Even though the Temperance is here clarifying it, that's just suggesting that you've got to fix that. That you've got to. It is a suggestion that it's ruining you to the point of keeping you weak, and that finding your strength is what you've got to do to overcome that ruin in your life. And it appears like you actually might have that internal capacity to do so. It's not suggesting that you don't have personal strength there. It is actually suggesting that you have personal strength, that you have attained some level of power. The problem is that all of this insecurity around you from others is stunting your power, directly and indirectly, externally and internally. And while they're at it being insecure, they're just more disappointed in you for not getting somewhere, but all of their disappointment is why you are stuck like this. And the universe is never gonna say, that's okay, here, let me give you a helping hand. It's going to be on your side and it can sympathize, but at the end of the day, you're the one that has to temper out of this situation. The universe will cheer you on, and the universe will support you in the ways it can, but it's never going to physically fix it for you. It is only going to support you in the indirect manners that it can do. So it's like, even though it's suggesting here that you are, like, even though the universe can see that you're going through this, it also isn't going to fix it for you. You're going to have to rattle yourself out of this. And the way you do that is there's a good shot here that you've got to defy your dogma. Whatever your dogma is, I don't know what it is, but your dogma is contributing to your weakness. Listening to other people, letting other people's insecurities define you on the inside and out, is contributing to your weakness. And that's very hard to shake if you're in a dogma. It's very hard to shape if you don't have any material abundance to secure your own existence. And it doesn't help if you're stuck in apathy. But the only shining light here is that you have some kind of internal power. And that's what the Nine of Wands is signifying, that you somehow have still attained power through all of this. You do have some kind of strength, even if it's being stunted by insecure people around you. And even if you have found yourself in a ruinous situation that you feel like is making itself worse and compounding on itself, if you can break out of whatever that destructiveness is and start focusing on actually healing yourself and not destroying yourself, focusing on empowering yourself and not destroying yourself, and that is going to require a couple things. It's going to require you to shake your dogma, for one thing, shake it off. You're going to have to protect yourself from other people's insecurities affecting your internal capacity to believe in yourself, and you're going to have to protect yourself from people's external capacities to try and convince you that the life is like supposed to be this way, or that you're supposed to be disappointed in life, and that you aren't supposed to have enthusiasm. That's That's about as clear as I can get it without actually knowing who you are, because I don't know what your dogma is. I could be more specific if I knew it was like some kind of really raw Christianity, Catholicism, or even Islam, whichever, any of them, any religion, any dogma, even a secular dogma like leftism can do that. So whether it's leftism or conservative principle, there's a dogma that is not serving you at all, and you're being asked to shake that dogma. And that dogma's got all these other people trapped in insecurity, apparently. So like, it's disappointing. I hate seeing dogma do this to someone. I hate seeing dogma do this to all of these people, and then they just keep reinforcing the same patterns over and over and over. And they keep people of good strength like you literally self-destructing. This is suggesting that you're self-destructing a little bit, and they're contributing to keeping you down and stuff. Like, it's very disappointing. So I hope that this helped. I hope that somebody can save themselves from this, and if I was able to do that for someone, then that is why I'm here. To break the shackles that bind us. That is my mission in this life. That is my ultimate goal. So if I can do that for somebody here, then I can be as proud of myself for succeeding as I would be of you for saving yourself from this. So, Libra, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I'm happy you're here. If this can help you heal yourself and empower yourself so you can enjoy your life like you're supposed to, then I'm proud that you got here. So, thank you very much. Take care, and good luck.